Turhan Sultan, mother of Sultan Mehmed IV. Turhan Hattis Sultan Merciful, or Noble. c. 1627–4, 1683, was the first Turkic Sultan of the Ottoman Sultan Ibrahim reign, 1640–48, and valid Sultan of the mother of Mehmed IV reign 1648–87. She had supreme control over the Ottoman Empire. As a result, Turhan became one of the prominent figures during the era known as Sultanate of Women. Turhan was prominent for the regency of her young son and her building patronage. She and Khadija Sultan are the only two women in Ottoman history to be regarded as official regents. Turhan Hattis Sultan was born around 1627, and her original name was Nadir. She was captured in one of the raids of the Tatars and sold into slavery. She was sent to the imperial harem at the Topkapı Palace. From the Khan of Crimea, she was presented to the palace as a gift of Kar Suleiman Pasha. To Khadija Sultan. She was trained by Ataik Sultan, daughter of Sultan Mehmed I, and groomed by Khadija, who presented her to her son, Ibrahim. She had one brother, Yunus Aga, died 1689, living in Istanbul, according to Sokollu. She was tall, delicate, had blue eyes, and was white-skinned. Turhan gave birth to one child, Wazid Mehmed, future Sultan Mehmed IV, born on the 2nd of January, 1642. Mehmed's birth caused great rejoicing both within and outside the palace. Although she bore the Sultan his first son, she was largely ignored by him. Her daily stipend as the Haseki consisted of 1,000 aspas. At one point, Ibrahim took a great liking to the infant son of a slave woman, to the extent of preferring the unrelated child to his son Mehmed. Turhan grew extremely jealous and vented her anger to Ibrahim, who flew into a rage and grabbed Mehmed from Turhan's arms and threw him into a pool. Mehmed would have drowned if a servant had not rescued him. Ibrahim's behavior sparked talks of deposing the Sultan. On the 8th of August 1648, Ibrahim was dethroned, and several days later, he was strangled. At the head of the Ottoman Empire stood the child Sultan, Mehmed IV. With Mehmed's ascendancy, the position of valid Sultan, mother of the reigning Sultan, should have gone to Turhan. However, Turhan was overlooked due to her youth and inexperience. Instead, the Sultan's grandmother and the previous valid Sultan, Khadija Sultan, was reinstated to this high position. Khadija Sultan was a valid mother under two sons, thus having the more experience of the two women. However, Turhan turned out to be too ambitious a woman to lose such a high position without a fight. In her struggle to become valid Sultan, Turhan was supported by the chief black eunuch in her household and the Grand Vizier, while Khadija was supported by the Janissary cause. Although Qasim's position as valid was seen as the best for the government, the people resented the influence of the Janissaries on the government. In this power struggle, Khadija planned to dethrone Mehmed and replace him with another young grandson. According to one historian, this switching had more to do with replacing an ambitious daughter-in-law with one who was more easily controlled. Whether Turhan sanctioned it or not, on the night of the 2nd of September, 1651, Khadija Sultan was murdered 3 years after becoming regent for her young grandson. With the death of her rival, Turhan became the valid Sultan. As a regent, Turhan wielded great power. She accompanied her son to important meetings and on several occasions spoke from behind her curtained sitting place. She was deeply loved and respected by her son. Due to her inexperience, Turhan relied on other members of the government to advise her on political matters. This is evident from her correspondence to the Grand Viziers. Golnu Sultan attempted to have her husband's brother Suleiman I and Ahmed II strangled after Mustafa was born, but Turhan had hindered these attempted murders. By providing the Grand Vizier with great authority, Turhan limited her own power on the political stage. However, she channeled her energies into other architectural projects. She built a fountain in 1653 in Bewiktak district. Her first building project began in 1658. Turhan also built the Yeni Mosque in Istanbul. The initial construction was started by one of Turhan's predecessors, Safi Sultan. She had chosen the commercial quarter of the city, Eminönü, as the location of the mosque. Turhan Sultan died on the 4th of August 1683 in Eden. Her body was brought back to Istanbul and was buried in the tomb, the Yeni Mosque. She lies alongside her son and her descendants. She was considered the last of the great valid sultans. Her death marked the end of the period known as the Sultanate of Women. Thanks for watching. Subscribe my channel for more videos.